ABS, or anti-lock brake system, does exactly what it says on the tin. It's a system that allows you to apply as much brake pressure as you possibly want without the consequences of locking up the brakes and a trip straight for a wall. As an assist, it's one of the best, especially if you are new to the game. But in order to compete with the very best, you need to learn how to race without it. Don't fret though, because here at Veloce we have come up with 5 tips which will have you doing just that in no time at all. Step 1. Finding your technique. Braking is a weird one because there is not only one way to do it. It's not as simple as pushing the pedal as hard as you can until the car slows down to a speed you desire. No, there is actually an art to it. And just like art, there are different styles and techniques that you can choose from. To make it simpler for you, we are going to focus on the main 2. These are trail braking and pump braking. Both are effective techniques to help you make the corner, but both also have their downfalls. That's why it's vital to find the style you feel most comfortable with, so let us go into each one with a little bit more detail. Step 2. Trail braking. Unlike with a real road car, the trail braking technique is the complete opposite of that. Instead of slowly increasing the pressure to come to a stop, you in fact push the pedal as hard as you can straight away before slowly releasing your foot off the pedal until you make the apex of the corner. Timing is crucial in F1 and braking is no different. On the brakes for too long and you lock up the wheels. This is very bad from Schumacher.
Now that's bad from Schumacher.
Because the wheels stop rotating, which in turn causes the car to skid across the tarmac, increasing the stopping distance whilst flat spotting and ruining your tyres. So you don't really want to be doing that. Okay, so what if you release the brakes too early? Surely that's got to be better, right? Well, no, because you won't slow down the car in time and you'll either run off the track or end up inside the car in front wondering how baby F1 cars are made. Step 3. Pump braking. If you feel like trail braking isn't really for you, then there's always pump braking. This may not be as popular as trail braking, but that doesn't mean it isn't as effective. Pump braking is very self-explanatory as you pump the brakes repeatedly to slow down the car. However, there is a little bit more to it than that. Like with trail braking, arrive at your braking point and apply 100% brake pressure. Then take your foot off the brake to about 50% before putting the pressure back on to about 70 to 80%. Now repeat this process until you come to your desired speed to take the corner. To get this technique right, it will take a lot of practice as it's very easy to apply too much or too little brake pressure, causing you to either lock up or overshoot the corner. Fine margins are everywhere in F1 and braking is no exception, so take your time with both techniques and decide which one suits you best. Step 4. Keeping the car in a straight line. Locking up the brakes is one of the most frustrating parts of removing the ABS assist. No matter how good you are at the game, you will lock up from time to time. But how do you reduce locking up into every single corner? Answer: keeping your car in a straight line whilst braking. We talked about how important having your car in a straight line whilst accelerating was in our last top tips video, driving without traction control. And when it comes to braking, keeping the car straight is very important as well, as it will drastically reduce the amount you lock up. This is because when you turn whilst braking, the loads on the wheels become unbalanced, and in turn cause the tyre with the least amount of load, which usually tends to be the inside tyre, to lock up. So keeping the car as straight as possible will stop the wheels being unbalanced and reduce locking up. Step 5. Adjusting to your surroundings. Now, not all corners have simple approaches to them, which makes keeping the car straight very difficult. Take turns 9 and 10 in Bahrain, for example, a tricky downhill double left-hander that forces you to turn left while braking. This is most drivers' least favourite corner on the calendar because it is so challenging. So how do we tackle it? One idea would be to brake in a straight line on the approach to turn 9 and then allow the car to fall through the following 2 corners. And whilst this will stop you from locking up, it will also make you incredibly slow, making you very vulnerable to being overtaken. No, instead what you need to do is to make turn 9 as straight as possible whilst also setting up a normal racing line through turn 10. You do this by taking a straight line through turn 9 and applying the brakes just before you get to the apex. Now remember, this corner is downhill, which makes locking up a lot easier. The way to counter this is to not put 100% brake pressure, instead go to about 60-70% and then use the technique of your choice. Bring the car to the right hand side so you are now parallel to the curb before turn 10. By this point, you should have the car to your desired speed. If not, next time apply a little bit more brake pressure or brake just a tad earlier than before. Sounds difficult, but don't let it scare you off. Just like with all our tips, the more you practice, the better you will become. Now we've talked about how to adapt your braking when it comes to tackling a downhill corner, let's see how you would approach an uphill one. Now when it comes to going uphill, gravity is on your side. This means that not only can you brake later into a corner, but also a lot harder too. The risk of a lockup is also reduced, so feel free to apply more pressure than you would a normal corner. So there you have it, 5 top tips to turning off the ABS assist on F1 2019. It goes without saying that setups will help you a lot further with reducing lockups and being stronger under braking, but we will get into that in a future video. If you found these tips helpful, don't forget to check out our other esports 101 videos and let us know in the comment section below what you would like help with next. But until then, I've been Hayden from Veloce Esports, and we will see you next time. It's safe to say traction control is the one that we all turn off last. And even then, some of the top pro esports drivers who you'd expect to have mastered no assist driving by now get caught out from time to time. It's the assist that you can't really forget about, because the moment that you do, that's when it will jump out the bushes.